selected for my career interest presentation is about being a fish and wildlife manager after earning an environmental science degree. I selected this topic because I truly enjoy our natural world and many outdoor sportsman activities and want to ensure their continued existence as much as possible. Part of my presentation will be focused on the state of Missouri, where I hope to work, with other information referencing the rest of the United States. When you think of being in the outdoors, what is it that comes to mind? Trees, plants, or animals? All of these are a part of our great outdoors and need to be managed in an effective way to ensure that they are here for future generations. At times, the human dimension plays havoc on our ecosystems, and it takes dedicated conservationists to ensure that the goals of individuals and the responsibility of protecting and managing our natural resources are fulfilled. A bulk of this work is conducted by fish and wildlife managers. During this presentation, we will answer several questions for people who may be interested in this career field, including what is a fish and wildlife manager and what do they do? Is the career field viable? And what have our predecessors in the field accomplished and how do we expand upon it? Let's focus on the first question. Fish and wildlife managers are individuals that have received degrees in the environmental sciences and work closely with federal, state, private, and public organizations to ensure that we maintain a sustainable and diverse population of flora and fauna. Learn.org states wildlife managers must focus on the management of various kinds of species in a given ecosystem. After earning your degree, your workload will be a fluctuating mixture of outdoors research and field work coupled with office work. Some of the office work will include reports and presentations of research and findings with the public, other scientists, and policymakers. You will also spend a lot of time in outreach programs to the public regarding management-related topics. A little later, we will discuss some examples of work conducted by fish and wildlife managers in cooperation with other conservation-related fields. The next question poses whether or not this career path is viable. Fish and wildlife management is a career discipline that can be the open door to many conservation careers. For example, the Missouri Department of Conservation has several career opportunities for those possessing this degree, including a fisheries or nature center manager, naturalist, conservation agent, wildlife or wildlife management biologist, or as a private land conservationist. According to Learn.org, 75% of all conservation scientists work for the government. The 2016 annual salary in the United States for this career was $60,610. Remember, the salary cannot be expected for all positions in all states. Experience and additional education can assist with earning more money as other positions may become available. There is opportunity to transfer if you begin experiencing burnout, which, as Ramos states, is one of the biggest problems facing conservation biologists, is that they become overworked or the burden on their families becomes too great and they leave the field. Also understand that even though careers in this field are needed at all governmental levels, as budgets become strained, that positions may be eliminated, causing larger workloads on the individuals still employed. Those that have worked within this field have made huge strides in many efforts, but in my opinion, the reintroduction of species back into their native habitats is the greatest. Perhaps you have heard of the reintroduction of wolves to Yellowstone. Fish and wildlife biologists work tirelessly to issues related to management practices. Missouri, as an example, has had several species reintroduction projects in the last 2 decades, including river otters, black bears, and most recently, elk herds. Not everyone is happy about the decisions of reintroduction. Fears of game fish being consumed from otter predation, black bears free-ranging around homes and schools, and, as a St. Louis Post-Dispatch article reported, even the threat of disease such as brucellosis being transmitted from the elk herds to cattle are obstacles that wildlife managers must overcome. You must become a mediator between the public and organizations to ensure that support for your project is widely held. Educating the public may come through events such as school exhibits, nature expos, seminars, and even hunter education classes. Interacting with both private, public, and governmental agencies will be a continuous effort and will produce yields as you build relationships while assisting the environment. You may face unpreventable natural obstacles such as flood, fire, famine, or disease that could set projects back significantly or halt them altogether. A member of this field must possess superior resiliency skills. So why go with the headache associated with the field? Think back to the original question posed about what comes to mind when you think of the outdoors. According to Lee, Murphy, and Gentile, over 1,300 species are at risk of extinction in the United States, with nearly 22,000 species at risk worldwide. I expect that you, as I do, would rather that we enjoy our animal species living, rather than studying them through fossils and speculating data like the dinosaurs. We do it because we love the environment and champion stewardship for the next generation.
Created using Powtoon.